Hello, welcome to today's edition of Pegasus Test. On today's edition, we're doing a review of a Polymer 80 pistol. Building a Polymer 80 is a lot of fun. I would definitely encourage you to do it. If you have the spare parts laying around, it almost makes economic sense to do it because for the price of the frame, you can build another gun instead of going out and buying a new one, and it's significantly more money. In my case, I had upgraded previous Glocks that I owned, so I had a slide laying around, I had extra sights laying around, I had an OEM barrel, had a lot of OEM parts. You know, for the cost of a couple of springs and the frame, I had a completely new gun for nothing. Matter of fact, I didn't pay MSRP, on this gun, which is $150. I bought it on one of the sales that were going on, so I think I paid like $100 at the time for it. So that and a couple springs, I'm out $120 to get a functioning Glock style pistol. You know, it effectively is a Glock. It runs like a Glock. It uses Glock parts. The only thing that's not Glock is the frame. And you know what? Why wouldn't you get the extra gun for such a little cost? You get the fun of building it, which is a lot of fun. You know, with these kind of things, you can do like we did in the early 90s and have AK build parties where everybody would come over and put AKs together working with each other's tools. You can do the same thing with this. You know, have your friends over, build a pistol. Have a great time. Okay, this is the Polymer 80 I took out to Desert Brutality 2018. It was a two-gun match, so required both pistol and rifle. There weren't too many pistol stages on this. Matter of fact, the only stages used pistol were 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. And you know, I thought a match environment would be a really good test of what abuse can the Polymer 80 withstand. And the answer is quite a lot. And more than a few people came up to me when they'd see it sticking out of the holster because they only see the butt, and they would go, "What kind of pistol is that? What are you running?" And when they found out it was a Polymer 80, they were all genuinely impressed. I'm genuinely impressed because out of the whole match, I had no malfunctions with the pistol. It ran great. This Polymer 80 build I've had about a year, and throughout the year I've been putting it through its paces. I've learned lessons from building this one, so this is the first one that I built. Also conversely, it was the one that took the longest to get going and get running right, but in the end it was worth it. Some things that can make your build a little better. If you know somebody that's got some machining skills, go ahead and use their knowledge to help you out. Can you do it with a Dremel tool? Absolutely, you surely can. There's plenty of videos all over the web of people doing this with a Dremel tool. However, you know what? People with some skills can save you some time, show you some tips and techniques that make it go a whole lot easier. The nice thing I'd say, when I first got it together, that, you know, it started working right away. There was a few bobbles and hurdles, but you know, a little filing here, a little filing there, where you found the rubbing going on. And I'd say within 100 rounds, I had this thing humming, no problem. The builds I've done subsequent to this one, within one magazine, I had it humming perfectly. So, needless to say, it's a good kit. I would totally recommend doing it if it fits your needs. Now, one of the things I would recommend is waiting until the kit goes on sale. The MSRP is $150, and most people are selling it at $150. Recently, I've seen a couple ads where it's dropped down to $120. This is a version 1 pistol. A while back, they were clearing out their inventories, getting ready for version 2, and you could get them for cheap as $75 or even $50. You know, that's hard to argue with. But the truth is, if you're not in a restricted state, or you know, you just really want to the challenge of building, don't want the challenge of building it, I should say. If you don't want the hassle of having to build it, you can find strip Glock frames for as cheap as $75 out on Gunbroker. So this is kind of a build you do because you want to do it, not because there's any great cost savings. To me, the advantage of wanting to do it was I've upgraded other Glocks that I own, and I had a lot of OEM parts lying around. Matter of fact, when I looked at the part list to build a Polymer 80 and stuff, I literally had to buy a magazine catch spring and a slide release lever spring. That's the only parts I didn't have extra lying around. So, you know, to go ahead and build a kit and get myself an extra gun out of the deal, yeah, sure, why wouldn't I do it? It was totally worth it. It functions like a Glock because essentially it is. It's using all Glock parts except for the frame. One of the few things we've encountered is it's not holster friendly. I should say version 1 here is not holster friendly. If you build a 9mm or 40 caliber, in my case I used spare Glock 22 slide, it's not going to fit in the holsters that your Glock 22 or Glock 17 would fit in. You have to upgrade to a Glock 21 holster. If you check out our comment section below, you'll have a link to where I did Polymer 80 holster options a while back. Please feel free to check out the video to help your search. I went and ran this gun with the light that's attached in a Blackhawk Epoch holster. And that's a light bearing holster, so that's why I ran with the light attached. I ended up not needing it out there at Desert Brutality, but it wasn't a detriment by any means. As a matter of fact, it probably helped absorb some recoil, having that little bit of extra mass out at the end and keep the muzzle whip down to a manageable level. Overall, it performed well. Like I said, there were no malfunctions. The gun did everything I needed it to do, and I would be happy to run it in a competition again. If you're looking for a challenge, of building your own gun, the satisfaction, hey, can I do this? By all means, definitely go for it. I would highly recommend doing this. With other kits I've built and advice from other people that I've talked to that have also done builds, the Polymer 80 seems to, or at least I should say the Polymer 80 version 1, I have no experience with version 2 yet, but the version 1 seems to prefer Glock OEM parts. Putting on like Lone Wolf or Zev slides and high performance triggers, it seems to not like as much. It'll work with them, don't get me wrong, but you got to work them in. If you just want it to get up and running fast as you can, stick with your OEM parts. My suggestion would be take your regular Glock if you already own one, do the upgrade there, and pull the parts off of that, the OEM parts, and build yourself a Polymer 80. I think you'll be happy for it, and I think you'll have a good, reliable gun. One of the things I did not do with this in this review is, like you see other people do, is go out and do an accuracy review. Pointless. It's a Glock 22. Glock 22s run. You know they run. You know what a Glock OEM barrel will do. That's what it's running, a Glock OEM barrel. So as far as that, there's no point in having an accuracy test. Reliability, that's dictated by you, the user, the builder. I mentioned earlier, it took me about 100 rounds to get this running. With a couple of builds I've done since then, I've got them running within one magazine. It's knowledge that comes with it, tips and tricks you learn along the way. Definitely it would suggest giving this a try, especially if you've got a boatload of Glock parts lying around your workshop because you've upgraded all your other guns. I hope you found this review of the Polymer 80 pistol interesting and informative. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and please tune in for future pistol test videos.